Ysabel and Maddie Brown give rare updates on their relationships with dad Kody amid sister-wives stars' many estrangements. Hello friends, welcome to the Daily Gossip News Update. I'm Olivia and I hope you're well by God's grace. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. For years, TLC's Sister Wives has documented the unraveling of the Brown family's once unified polygamous structure. What began as a portrait of a large, blended family living under one ideology has, in recent seasons, turned into a painful chronicle of fractured relationships, most notably between patriarch Kody Brown and many of his 18 children. While fans have watched Garrison, Gabriel, Gwen, and even younger children like Savannah and Truly grow increasingly distant from their father on-screen, two of Kody's older daughters, Ysabel and Maddie, have remained relatively quiet about their current dynamics with him, until now. In separate interviews and social media updates throughout 2025, both Ysabel, 22, and Maddie, 30, have offered candid glimpses into where they stand with Kody 3 years after the family's plural marriages effectively dissolved. Maddie Brown Brush, the second child of Kody and Janelle, was once considered one of the golden children, who maintained a close relationship with her father even after moving to North Carolina with her husband Caleb and their 3 children. For a long time, she appeared to be the exception to the growing list of estranged Brown kids. However, in a lengthy Instagram Q&A in early 2025, Maddie acknowledged that things are no longer as close as they once were. When directly asked by a follower, "How is your relationship with your dad right now?" Maddie responded with surprising honesty, "It's complicated. Distance makes it harder. Both the physical distance and some emotional distance that's built up over the last few years. We talk, but not like we used to. I think we're both still figuring out what our relationship looks like now that the family isn't all together anymore." She went on to emphasize that she harbors no bitterness, adding, "I love my dad. I always will. But I also have to protect my own little family's peace. Sometimes that means setting boundaries, and that's okay." Maddie's husband Caleb has previously hinted on the show that Kody's strict COVID-era rules created lasting tension, especially after the couple felt judged for traveling and seeing extended family. Though Maddie stopped short of rehashing old arguments, her tone suggested that those disagreements still linger beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Ysabel Brown, Kody and Christine's 3rd child together, has perhaps the most emotionally charged history with her father in recent years. Viewers vividly remember season 17, when Kody initially resisted paying for or accompanying Ysabel to North Carolina for major scoliosis surgery in 2020 citing COVID concerns, a decision that left both Christine and Ysabel devastated and became a turning point in Christine's choice to leave the marriage. 3 years after the surgery and Christine's subsequent marriage to David Woolley, Ysabel has emerged as a confident college student in her early 20s. In a podcast appearance on the Surviving Sister Wives podcast in mid-2025, she was asked point-blank whether she and Kody had repaired their relationship. Ysabel paused before answering carefully, "We're in a better place than we were during the surgery stuff, definitely. He's apologized and I've forgiven him. But forgiveness doesn't mean everything goes back to exactly how it was. I talk to him every couple of months. Cordial. It's fine." She added that most of their communication happens through text and that she hasn't seen him in person since early 2024. Perhaps the most revealing part of Ysabel's update was her reflection on how her father's favoritism toward his youngest children with Robyn has affected her. "I think when you have so many kids, it's impossible to treat everyone equally," she said. "Some of us got less time and attention growing up, and that doesn't just disappear because you're an adult now. I've made peace with it." Both sisters stress that they maintain relationships with their siblings across all 4 mothers, underscoring that the famous Brown family bond remains strong even as their connections to Kody weaken. Maddie frequently posts photos with Janelle, Christine, Meri, and even Robyn's kids, while Ysabel is often seen spending time with Truly, Savannah, and her Woolley step-siblings. Fans have noted the contrast between Ysabel and Maddie's measured responses and the more openly critical stances taken by some of their siblings. Gabe and Garrison, in particular, have been vocal about feeling abandoned by Kody, with Garrison tragically passing away in 2024 before any public reconciliation could occur, something that continues to cast a long shadow over the family. Neither sister indicated any plans to film new scenes with Kody for upcoming seasons, and sources close to production say the older children are increasingly reluctant to put their nuanced, often painful relationships on display for reality TV. Ultimately, Ysabel and Maddie's updates paint a picture of two young women who have chosen acceptance over ongoing conflict. They are not cutting Kody out entirely, but they are also not pretending the hurts of the past have vanished. In their own ways, both seem to be prioritizing their mental health, their own growing families in Maddie's case, and their relationships with their mothers and siblings. As one fan commented under Maddie's post, "This feels like the most mature version of 'we're okay, but we're not okay' I've ever seen from this family." For Sister Wives viewers who have followed the Browns for over a decade, hearing Ysabel and Maddie speak so openly, yet so gently, about their famous father may signal the final chapter in the story of Kody as the central figure holding the family together. Sister Wives Kody Brown makes rare admission about treatment of his exes in emotional new interview. In a moment that stunned longtime Sister Wives viewers, Kody Brown has finally acknowledged, out loud and on the record, that he did not always treat his former sister wives with the fairness and respect they deserved. Candid admission came during a rare solo interview on the Reality Life with Kate Casey podcast released on December 2, 2025, marking one of the few times the TLC patriarch has spoken publicly without Robyn by his side since the explosive season 19 tell-all. When host Kate Casey directly asked Kody whether he believes he was fair to Janelle, Christine, and Meri during the final years of their plural marriages, the 56-year-old patriarch paused for nearly 10 seconds, an eternity on audio, before responding. "No," he said quietly. "If I'm being honest, no, I wasn't fair. Not even close. I can make all the excuses in the world about COVID, about loyalty tests, about feeling overwhelmed, but at the end of the day I picked favorites. I protected one relationship at the expense of the others, and I justified it to myself because I was scared. That's not leadership. That's cowardice." Confession immediately went viral across Sister Wives fan communities, with many calling it the closest thing to an apology the three ex-wives are ever likely to receive from Kody on a public platform. He continued, "I look back at 2020 and 2021 especially, and I see a man who was panicking. I thought if I controlled everything, the rules, the visits, who was safe, I could keep the family from falling apart. Instead, I accelerated it. I pushed people away who had been with me for decades because they wouldn't play by rules that, honestly, even I didn't always follow." Kody specifically referenced the infamous COVID guidelines that became a breaking point for Janelle and Christine. "I turned my home into a fortress, but only for certain people," he admitted. "Robyn's kids were struggling the most with anxiety, so I gravitated there. I told myself I was being a good dad to them, but I wasn't being a good husband to Janelle or Christine, or even a good father to most of my other kids. I see that now." Perhaps most shockingly, Kody addressed the long-standing fan accusation that he emotionally abandoned Meri years before their legal divorce in 2023. "Meri got the worst of it," he said, voice cracking. "I checked out of that marriage emotionally probably 15 years before it officially ended. I kept her in limbo because leaving felt like failure, and I didn't want to be the guy who couldn't make polygamy work. So I just stopped trying. That was cruel. She deserved someone who was all in or all out. I gave her neither." When pressed on whether he has personally apologized to Meri, Janelle, and Christine for his behavior, Kody confirmed he has reached out privately. "I've spoken to each of them individually in the last year," he revealed. "Not for cameras, not for the show, just man to woman. I told Meri I was sorry for stringing her along. I told Janelle I was sorry for dismissing her needs and making her feel like she had to choose between me and her own children. I told Christine I was sorry for how I handled Ysabel's surgery and for acting like her leaving was some kind of betrayal instead of me failing her first." He added that the conversations were hard but necessary, though he stopped short of saying the ex-wives had fully forgiven him. Fans were quick to point out the timing of the interview, coming just weeks before the season 19 finale and only months after Janelle and Christine launched their joint Plexus and Peace livestream series that routinely shades Kody without ever naming him directly. Many speculate the podcast appearance was a preemptive attempt to control the narrative before new episodes air footage of Kody claiming he has no regrets about how things ended. Yet the tone of this interview felt markedly different from Kody's defensive tell-all appearances. For perhaps the first time in years, he spoke without blaming his exes for abandoning the family or framing himself as the victim of disloyal wives. "I spent a long time being angry," he admitted. Angry at Christine for leaving first, angry at Janelle for not fighting harder, angry at Meri for existing in that limbo I created. But anger was easier than guilt. Guilt means you have to change. And changing at my age after defending my choices for so long, that's terrifying. Kody also touched on his current monogamous marriage to Robyn, revealing that even she has encouraged him to own his mistakes. "Robyn has told me more than once, you can't heal what you won't name," he shared. "She lived through all of it too. She saw how I withdrew from the others. She's not blameless in everything that happened, but she's been pushing me to look in the mirror." When asked if he believes plural marriage itself was the problem, Kody gave a surprisingly nuanced answer. "I don't think polygamy was doomed from the start, but the version I practiced in the end definitely was. I stopped living the principles I claimed to believe in. I stopped treating my wives as equals. But once that happened, it was already over. I just didn't want to admit it." As the interview wrapped, Kate Casey asked the question every fan wanted to know. Does Kody want reconciliation with his estranged children? "More than anything," he replied, visibly emotional. "Some of them may never want me back in their lives the way I hope, and I have to live with that. But I'm trying. I'm showing up differently now, no cameras, no audience. Just me, trying to be the dad I should have been all along." Whether this marks a genuine turning point or simply another chapter in the long, messy Brown family saga remains to be seen. But for the first time in years, Kody Brown publicly admitted what millions of viewers have been saying since season 15. The collapse of his plural family wasn't just about COVID rules or loyalty tests. Sister Wives Kody Brown. "Wow, apparently I'm an a-hole." The reality star's self-deprecating bombshell on the latest episode. In a plot twist that has Sister Wives fans doing double takes, Kody Brown, the silver-haired patriarch who spent the better part of 15 seasons defending his every decision with the fervor of a polygamous prophet, has finally turned the spotlight inward. During the December 1, 2025 episode of the TLC Juggernaut, Kody dropped a line so unexpectedly humble it felt like it was ripped from a therapy session rather than a scripted confessional. "I'm kind of, I don't want to say an asshole, but I have asshole potential," he admitted to wife Robyn Brown, his voice laced with a mix of chagrin and that signature Kody bravado. Robyn, ever the supportive partner, didn't miss a beat. "You can be rough for sure." The moment came amid Kody's much-hyped apology tour, a segment teased in mid-season trailers where the 56-year-old father of 18 attempts to mend fences with his three ex-wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine. After years of finger-pointing from COVID rule enforcements that alienated his family to public declarations that he never loved his former spouses, Kody's latest revelation feels like a genuine crack in his armor. Or, as fans on Reddit are already dubbing it, Kody's villain origin story finally getting a rewrite. The episode, titled Regrets and Revelations, picks up in the wake of Kody's appearance on Fox's Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, where the grueling physical and emotional challenges reportedly forced him to confront his role in the family's implosion. "I was so hurt, so angry, that I took a knife and swung it so hard I cut myself," Kody explained, referencing his infamous tell-all outbursts where he lashed out at his exes for abandoning the plural marriage covenant. He specifically retracted his claim of never loving Meri, Janelle, or Christine, calling it a really crappy thing to say to the mothers of 13 of his children. "That was me being defensive, not truthful," he added, eyes downcast in a rare display of vulnerability. But let's rewind. How did we get here? Sister Wives has chronicled the Browns' journey from a tight-knit fundamentalist Mormon clan in Utah to a scattered, monogamous remnant in Arizona. Kody's spiritual marriages to Meri, legal wife from 1990 until their 2023 divorce, Janelle 1993 to 2024, and Christine 1994 to 2021, crumbled under the weight of financial woes, the Coyote Pass property debacle, and Kody's increasingly rigid control during the pandemic. Christine's exit kicked off a domino effect, with Janelle and Meri following suit, leaving Robyn married to Kody since 2010 as his sole partner. The fallout? Estrangement from most of his older kids, including heartbreaking public callouts from Gabriel, Gwendolyn, and the late Garrison, who died by suicide in 2024. Viewers have long accused Kody of favoritism toward Robyn and her children, Solomon, plus her 3 from a prior relationship, Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna, a charge he indirectly addressed in the episode. "I gravitated to what felt safe," he confessed. "Robyn's household was the one that aligned with my fears during COVID. But that meant I was absent for the others, as a husband, as a dad. That's on me." It's a far cry from his season 18 rants blaming his exes for choosing independence over family. The apology tour itself is a spectacle of awkward reconciliations. Kody starts with Janelle, meeting her at a neutral coffee shop in Flagstaff. "I dismissed your needs, made you feel like you had to choose between me and the kids," he says, his hands fidgeting with a napkin. Janelle, ever pragmatic at 56, nods but doesn't gush. "Actions over words, Kody," she replies coolly. "We've got Coyote Pass to sell, let's focus on that before we hug it out." Their conversation veers into business mode, hashing out the stalled $4.5 million property sale that's left the family in limbo, but there's a thaw. Janelle admits she's open to co-parenting better for the sake of kids like Logan and Madison. Next up is Meri, the original wife whose 30-year marriage ended in what many called emotional neglect. Over a tense lunch at a vegan spot, Meri's choice, Kody tackles the elephant in the room, the years of limbo after her infertility struggles and the fallout from a catfishing scandal. "I checked out emotionally long before the divorce," he admits. "I kept you hanging because leaving felt like admitting failure. That was selfish and cruel." Meri, now 54 and thriving with her in Utah, tears up but holds firm. "I deserved clarity, not crumbs," she says. "But hearing you own it? That's progress." They part with a stiff hug, progress, but not a hallmark moment. Christine's sit-down is the most charged, held at her new home in Utah with husband David Woolley awkwardly in the background. Kody apologizes for the Ysabel scoliosis surgery fiasco in 2020, where his COVID paranoia kept him from accompanying her to North Carolina. "I prioritized my rules over your pain," he says. "And saying I didn't love you? That was a lie born out of my hurt." Christine, radiant at 52 in a post-weight loss glow-up, laughs bitterly. "You said a lot of things, Kody. But this tour, it's for the cameras, right?" He insists it's not, citing his Special Forces epiphany. "The DS directing staff broke me down, made me see I'm the common denominator in all this mess." David chimes in with a dad joke deflection, easing the tension, but Christine's skepticism lingers. Robyn's apology segment flips the script. Tearful and introspective, she tells Kody, "We've had a hard run. I owe you an apology for not speaking up when you were rough on the others." It's a nod to fan theories that Robyn enabled Kody's tunnel vision, but she pushes back gently. "I love you, but I don't always agree with how you handle conflict." Kody's asshole potential quip comes here, lightening the mood as they laugh about his rough edges. Yet underlying it all is the strain of their monogamous pivot. Kody flatly states he'd never do plural marriage again, a bombshell that leaves Robyn visibly processing. Camera, the ripple effects are already hitting social media. Ysabel Brown, 22, posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Forgiveness is a process, not a switch." Maddie Brush, 30, shared a family photo sans Kody with the caption, "Boundaries equals peace." Meanwhile, non-binary child Leon Brown slammed Kody on TikTok as a joke of a father, echoing Gabe's earlier disses. Even Meri's daughter Mariah Leon has gone radio silent on family posts. Critics are divided. Is this Kody's redemption arc or just savvy PR ahead of season 20's finale? "He's saying the words, but where's the change?" one Reddit user vented. Others praised the growth. "Better late than never, at least he's trying." TLC insiders hint at more raw footage in upcoming tell-alls, including Kody's claim that one ex-wife tipped him off about another's affair, a juicy thread teased but unresolved. As the Browns navigate this new normal, with Janelle diving into essential oils, Christine planning a Vegas wedding vow renewal, and Meri eyeing a solo spin-off, Kody's admission stands as a pivotal what-if. Could owning his a-hole potential rebuild bridges? Or is it too little, too late for a family fractured beyond repair? One thing's certain. In the world of sister wives where drama is the family business, Kody's self-roast is the plot twist no one saw coming. Tune in Sundays at October 9th on TLC to see if the apologies stick, or if the knives come out again.